through that city, made that Chevy swerve. The bank account jumping, gotta do it twerk. Keep hating like you isn't, get your feelings hurt. I got the 10 cent low, letting send me.
Hey, yo, what's good with everybody, man? I hope everybody's having a productive day, feeling blessed. And like I always say, it's one life, one chance. We only got one chance to do this right. Let's get it done. That being said, let's get into the video. Let's get right to it. Ain't even got to beat around the bush, man. So hit that subscribe button, hit that like. Always leave a comment. Let me know what you guys think in the comment section. The individual I want to talk about is the homie Bart. Bart from VCP. I'm going to tell you how I got to know the individual. And to be honest with you, there's going to be a debate between us, between me and between y'all. I'm going to share my perspective. I want you guys to share yours. So the first time I ever met Bart, right? I was at the Morton Street Apartments in Porterville. Like I said, I was kicking it with Paul Zuniga, his brother, who at the time they even told me that he was no good. But I was chilling with Paul, and I bull you not, bro. Tank would be there from East Salvador before he passed away. Tank, last name was Charlie, I think. Joaquin from East Salvador, who had the keys to East Salvador, was right there. Dude be a lot of us. Ox from the west side, Creeper from East Salvador. He lived in the apartments like upstairs with his white girlfriend with the big old bifocals and the acne issues all over her face. That one. And, you know, this is the Morton Street Apartments. You know, I had homies in like a couple of different apartments. Me and Adam Duran, you know, Menace would be right there. My co-defendant Mumbles would be right there. Me and Wicked used to chill there. And then, so I'm chilling there, right, one night. And I think we were just smoking and drinking. And I remember it's funny because Paul had a pit bull. It was a blue nose, but that thing was big, bro. That thing used to just, if I would sit down, the pit bull would just stare at me like, wouldn't take his eyes off me, bro. He was vicious. And we're chilling, and then I remember we were in the kitchen, me and Paul doing something, and he was like, hey, fool, hey, we're about to jump Joaquin right now, man. Just go with it, all right? I'm like, all right. So Joaquin's on the couch just laying down watching TV, and then Paul rushes him. So I jump on him, and now we're just horse playing around, just messing around. And then he's like, the dog starts jumping all over Joaquin and starts biting Joaquin like on his elbows, on his arm, his shoulder. And Joaquin's like, I see Joaquin panic, bro. And he's like, hey, bro, get the dog off me. Hey, bro, stop, bro, get the dog off me. The dog's on me. And I seen it, and I was like, oh, dang, the dog kind of got into the, you know, the dog was like, ain't no one-on-ones, but we jumping in. And the dog jumped in. So now Joaquin's mad, bro. He got bit everywhere. Now, I don't know what was taking place in East Salvador at the time because I wasn't kicking it with East Salvador like a lot. I was, you know, I would kick it with Fileto, I think he went by Heartless or Ruthless, but, you know, his name is Ruben. I was out when Nano, you know, he did pass away when he got by a Southerner at one of the schools. I went to the funeral, and I seen everybody from East Salvador right there. That's when I met Ray. You know, I met a lot of people at that funeral, and I got to chill with. I actually spent the night at Temper's Pad, way over there deep on the East Salvador. And I remember me and Temper were just high all night, just looking at each other like, "What's up, fool? What's up, bro? We high? You high? Yeah, I'm high. I'm high." We sounded like that for like 4 hours. Like, yeah, bro. And he was talking to Fileto all night. So now, back to the story. So I'm kicking it with Joaquin, but some things were taking place. I think he wasn't doing something at the time when I first met Bart. And Bart shows up, and I remember him sitting on a chair in the living room, and he introduces himself, and Joaquin's getting ready, and I can see Joaquin's getting nervous. And then Paul's like, hey, bro, I'm going to need you to be on your toes right now, bro. I don't know, you know, the homies are going to address some issues right now. They're going to show up. And Bart's right there, and I remember he had a green sweater, light blue jeans. He had a fade. He was all buff, but he was just like this. That's it. Then he introduced himself to me, but that was pretty much it. That was his only words. So we get a knock at the door. Joaquin comes out, goes outside, shuts the door. He goes out there with Bart. We wait about 5 or 10 minutes, and then me and Paul were like, all right, let's go get up and check on the homie. I don't know what's going on right now. I was barely 17 at the time. This was like in 2004 before I started functioning with the regiment in 2005. And I show up, Now, if you go through the Morton Street apartments, it's just one way in and one way out. They had a big old van right there just blocking the entrance so nobody can get out. And there's two fools right there. You can see they're packing. Like, they're blocking the entrance. And then I look to my right, and I see about 3 big homies addressing Joaquin. And Joaquin is just trying to explain himself. And me and Paul were sitting by the porch, by the light, just... And Bart's right there. He's part of the 3, just arguing with Joaquin. That was the first time I met Bart. The second time I met Bart was ugly. Wicked from VCP, he was getting jumped. I wasn't there. I was not there when he got jumped in his hood for whatever reason. Cuckoo and all them jumped him and you know, fractured his jaw. I wasn't there. So now I'm at South Sanchez's pad, and we're chilling. I'm with Pablo, I'm with Spunky, I'm with Memo, I'm with Cucuy, I'm with Sparks, everybody else, and we chilling. And I remember getting told they were having a meeting, but I had an STL hat, I had a red shirt, and Cucuy was like, "Hey, fool, if you ain't from my barrio, you need to get out of here." But he didn't tell me directly, he just said it out loud. So I started laughing like, "Yeah, all right, whatever, man, it was cool, whatever." I left. You know, me and Cucuy didn't start off on good terms, right? Well, right when I was leaving, Bart shows up. I tell Bart what's up. Bart shows up with Joey Cervantes. And they show up. They go do something in the back. I was already leaving to the pad. I went on Center Street to my cousin Duck's pad, stayed the night, woke up the next day, heard the drama. That Bart just went over there and put a thing out on everybody like, "Bro, who touched my brother?" And nobody admitted to jumping his brother. And he was like, "Bro, the next person that touches my brother, I'm all of y'all." And then he left. And remember, I just said what's up to him. He was just like, "What's up?" And that was it. Bam. That was all that happened. Well, the third time I meet Bart was at Jacker's pad. Jacker was from Lindsay. He was the individual that had all the paperwork, the BNLs, all the kites that were coming from county jail that needed to go to county jail were all at the homie Jacker's pad from Lindsay. Little white boy, just a white boy. And I'm meeting Bart, and Bart was standoffish. Like real standoffish, just like, it's like he didn't want to get to know me. He didn't know who I was. And for the simple fact that, to be honest with you, me being, although I wasn't from Porterville, but I was kicking it with the homies from Porterville a lot of fools used to look at me like, "Man, what's he doing here, bro? Like, why is he here?" It wasn't until I started functioning with the regiment and they started hearing about me, you know what I mean, hitting everything moving, is when I started building my reputation up. I started to get the feel for the homies, get to know the homies. But see, the thing about Bart is everybody knows his situation. Now, mind you, a lot of us could talk about it. A lot of us could speak on it. A lot of us that know him know that he's a natural born, you know what I mean, matador. He was really with it. I mean, that's what he got busted for. He's connected to a lot of it, connected to a lot of people, including Clinton's situation, Clinton Williams. You know, sad with that happened. But it's funny that this is the story I told. Now, I don't know if it's true. I don't know his reasoning. All I know is that when he got busted with the rest of the regiment, they knew that he knew a lot and that he had a lot of dirt on them and he had a lot of dirt on himself. And while he was locked up in county, they had threatened his life, talking about, "Hey, we're going to hurt your kids and your family if you say something, so don't say nothing." And I guess that from what I was told, I wasn't there for what I was told, is that the dude that was walking in front of him, he reached down and snatched his shackles off his ankles and like yanked him so he could fall, pulled out a thing and said, "Slice, slice, slice," gave him a smiley face. I don't know. That's what I was told. See, when I was in county and in 41 and Bob Wiley with Bart was my vent neighbor. And I remember Bart telling me he was in the vent because he used to give me all the mob books. He had all the mob books. He sent all the Godfather series his old lady did. So I used to get to read them in my cell. And he used to be like, "Hey, bro, that's what we're supposed to be doing. That's what the carnales should be doing, bro. This kind of stuff, bro. Those fools are doing it big, bro. We ain't nowhere, man." That's how his mind state was, man. He used to love Italian Mafia, bro. That's what he wanted to be a part of. That's how he wanted to be seen. And, you know, I looked at it, you know, from the 6 to 8 months that I functioned with the regiment, I was like, hey, we're pretty structured. You know, we got big homies. We got regions. We got regiments. We're taking over cities. You know, the homies in the pen ain't suffering. They got money coming in. But we're not on that scale on the grand scheme of things of like the Italian mafia. But that's how Bart wanted it. So he was always in the vent talking about, hey, Corleone this and Corleone that. And did you read that part about this? You know, favores. And I used to be on the vent like, damn, bro, you got a lot of time on your hands, bro. You got a lot of, and I used to always hear him do burpees like every morning, every day faithfully at 5:45. He'll work out from 5:45 to 6:30 doing burpees. So he'd always wake me up. But that's what he was talking about. But I remember he told me this one situation. I think he was waiting for it, bro. But he told me the situation. He was like, hey, bro, you remember that incident with your crimey Mumbles and Joey? And I'm like, yeah. And he goes, remember that time that, you know, Joey pulled that? He pretty much pulled out and waved it at everybody, including me, my co-defendant, and a couple other people because my co-defendant pulled his old lady. That's what I was told. I was there for my co-defendant when he confronted Joey about it, but I wasn't around when they started beefing and going at it. And I'm like, yeah, what about it? He goes, hey, did you have Mumbles back? And I was like, yeah, I didn't know Joey like that. So, you know, the way I told Bart, I go, the way I see it, bro, is, you know, you beef with my homie, you beef with me, bro. Straight up, I don't know Joey like that. I knew George, but I didn't know Joey like that. And quite frankly, the way Joey was talking to me at a certain party, talking about, you know, I could have downed you, I could have did this when Mumbles was here. And I was looking at Joey like, bro, you ain't finna do nothing. Not to me, bro, not for your stupidity, not for the homie, just over some chick. So me and Joey just got into an argument. That's all it was because he was talking down on my co-defendant when my co-defendant wasn't around. And I remember telling everybody like, bro, if he wants to trip, bro, we can trip, bro. We can go at it, bro. But Joey was the one that when Bart got arrested, Joey went at it with the cops, got Bart out the car, and they wound up taking Joey's life. May he rest in peace. And, you know, Bart used to talk to me about that situation, but I'm not going to share those details because those are personal to him. So he brought it up, and I was like, yeah, what about that situation? Yeah, I backed up my homie Mumbles. I would have always had my homie Mumbles' back. And he was like, yeah, bro, to be honest with you, if you'd have showed up in Utah with Mumbles around this time for a certain reason, I was like, yeah. He goes, I was going to smoke all you guys, but you guys didn't show up. So now I'm on the vent, and I'm looking at Bart like, damn, bro, like, you just going to tell me that to my face, bro? Like, how am I supposed to feel about you now? Like, now I feel like just flushing your book down the toilet, bro, and tell you can't have your book back, bro. That's what he said. Whether it's true or not, who knows? Because, you know, that situation never happened. But these are the encounters that I had with Bart where, like, Bart was always challenging me. Bart was always looking at me like, you know, I wasn't a nobody to him. That's how I seen it. But I still got along with the individual because, you know, when I started functioning with the street regiment, he was already in Utah with Bullet and everybody else. And he was hitting licks up there, coming down here, hitting licks for the regiment, then bouncing back to Utah without a trace. That was his MO. That was his strategic plan. But everybody can tell you from Porterville, bro, I mean, and it's hard to admit it, is that my boy, he was a hitter. But he told on the whole regiment and got out. So I used to always hear this a lot, you know. I used to always hear it in jail because a lot of in prison too, a lot of homies were locked up with them. Like, hey, bro, you know Bart, you know Bart? I'm like, yeah, I know Bart to a certain extent. You know, I knew his brother more. I was more like best friends with his brother. But I knew Bart occasionally and then being in county with them, talking to him before he told on everybody. So the question I'm trying to ask you is just like I had mentioned it before in a lot of videos, you know, Sammy the Bull told on everybody else. But look at Sammy the Bull situation. Got immunity for 19 counts of, you know what I mean, of them ones, them M's, homie. And does that take it away just because he told on Gotti? Does that take it away from who that individual actually is? Because everybody knows Bart for these particular reasons in these particular situations and how he used to retaliate on the streets and who he used to get at and who he used to work for. So I don't know why the circumstances and why he told on everybody. That's the hardest part for me to understand. People just know I know him. Not on a personal basis, but just knowing him by like encounters, situations, you know, running into him with when it comes to street regiments. But there were always brief moments of just me and him talking. He seen I was functioning with the regiment, so he had a little bit more respect for me. But I think he didn't like me for the simple fact that I wasn't from his hood. But a lot of homies like kind of perceived me from being from VCP because I was always around. My boy was caught up in a lot of stuff, but he was well respected in his hood. He was well respected as being a hitter. But you know, so that I really can't take that away from that man. But for whatever reason that he told, I just find it crazy that a lot of people will still talk about him and still bring him up to me and still ask me about him. And it's like they kind of overlook the fact that he did what he did, telling on the street regimen, because, you know, they threatened his life, they threatened his wife, and they threatened his kids' life just so he can keep his mouth shut. Because I think everybody knows what he did that really uncovered a lot of things, that unraveled a lot of things. And it goes to show how much he was connected and how much dirt he had on everybody else and himself. So I look at his situation like Sammy the Bull, since I'm bringing up the Italian Mafia thing because, you know, he was a fan of Italian Mafia. So I think what he did is, it was his self-preservation. He preserved himself because he knew he was going to go away for a long time. The boy did like almost 20 years. And threw everybody under the bus to save himself. You know, I think that's where he got, I think where he got the idea from the Italians. But I'm asking you guys, why? Why do you think a lot of people still perceive him or still respect him, even though they know what he did? Because trust me, outside of the YouTube world, people still talk to me about him. People still bring him up. Even when, like I said, when I was on the yard, people were like, hey, what's up with the homie Bart, bro? You know the homie Bart? But like, yeah, that's the homie. I get it. Yeah, I mean, I would just leave it like that. But then they would always bring it up like, man, I heard he was a hitter, bro. Who is this? And then in my head, I'm like, well, he also told, bro. Like, he also gave up like 20-some people, bro. That, you know what I mean? You got to weigh the good and the bad, bro. You got to factor both in, bro. He was a hitter, but he told, just like a lot of people have done so in the past. But since everybody was asking me about him, I decided to tell you guys those were the only initial contacts that I had with Bart. Most of the time was an event talking about Italian Mafia, talking about this, how the homies should be doing this, should be doing that, and just a few encounters that I met with them on the streets. Now, I think the moral of my story would be this. Not in the same sense as, you know, just because he was a hitter back then and he told now we shouldn't forget the fact that he was a hitter. But I start to see a lot of people now here on YouTube and throughout social media and through every other platform. Just in general, people think just because an individual left general population went SNY, first of all, they automatically told, they automatically debriefed. You know, that's neither here nor there. Because unless you have sound proof and it comes out publicly within information, within black and white, and like I've explained before, the debriefing process is only for validated members that were going through the THU and decided to debrief and leave the big organizations. But, you know, I can't convince the world of these kind of things, so I leave it alone. But I think everybody thinks just because a man decided whatever decision he made to leave that lifestyle and just say, you know what, I'm going to focus on myself, I'm going to focus on my own, I don't want to be a part of it no more. They automatically assume that that makes that person less of a man. You know, there's a lot of people on the SNY that, you know what I mean, for whatever reason, if they told, they told, okay? We'll just put it like that. If they told, they told. But for the ones that didn't tell nobody and the ones that actually stood solid on the main lines, put in work and decided to just say, you know what, I'm going to turn the light off, bro, I'm done. You know, I'm going to hang up the gloves, bro, I'm chilling. That doesn't make them any less of a man. See, people always want to compare the person that people are becoming now to the person in the past, and just because they're not who they are who they are now, who they were in the past, just doesn't make them less of a man. Doesn't make them less important. Doesn't make them less valuable as a person either. That's just their past. Like, I'm not on YouTube wanting to be recognized for my past. I'm here today showing you guys the person that I am and the person that I'm becoming. And I'm allowing you guys to watch me grow as a bigger person now. So now for Bart's situation, he did what he did. But I just trip, like I said, I just trip out on everybody always, you know, just still holding him in a high regard. Like that light up there that, you know, he glows. Like, people can't forget his past. They'll still connect him to that he told, but they always reflect on that man's past. And it's like the comparison is like, man, he should have been that guy. He should have been that guy. Well, there's a lot of people that walked away from this lifestyle who don't want to be that guy no more. And I think it's just very unfair for the people that are holding us accountable for wanting to change our ways and walk away from our life just because we don't want to be that guy in the past no more. And I think you guys owe it to us, for those that decided to make a change, decided to go SNY, walk away from everything that they've been a part of, come home, speak about it, but just continue to move forward and move onward. You know, give us that opportunity just to be who we want to become. And stop comparing us to the person that we are in the past and saying, well, you're not that person no more, so that makes you a coward. That makes you a sucker. That makes you weak. That makes you less important to society, to us, Like, honestly, the people that have decided to change their lives and not want to be part of their past person, that past dude that they're trying to forget about, I don't think that should be anybody else's concern. I think you should give that man the opportunity to say, you know what, become who you want to become, man. Maybe this wasn't for you. We just got to afford everybody the opportunity for change, because some people just want change more than others. So the difference is these guys have to make that change because they decided to walk away. If you choose not to make that change, that's up to you. But don't hold that man accountable for his past just because he decided to belong to it. Just because he decided that he didn't want to belong to it anymore. So with that being said, like I always say, it's one life, one chance. When you got one chance to do this right, let's get it done. Peace.